Hey guys, I thought I might do a little video on GaiaGPS. This is the app I use for most of my motorcycling trips, and I think it's just awesome. I see people struggling with Garmin equipment, and I think probably the only real GPS that maybe rivals this is maybe the very new Garmin units or the Trail Tech units, but I've not used either of those. And I just like the sort of connectivity and options you have with Gaia, and also just it just continues to get better too. It's just like a little startup that's working on this app, and they continue to improve it. So just to go through my sort of workflow, I mean, I typically do motorcycle trips, and I start out with some tracks that look like this. So I download a GPX from somewhere, and like these GPXs, they typically have like a bunch of little waypoints for various things, whether it be gas stations or whatever they are, but it really clutters up the map. So I typically turn those off. And so you can go to map overlays and you can turn off waypoints. And I think I usually have waypoint labels off. And so then on the map, I just see the tracks. And I typically color up the tracks, the blues being the primary route. So I'll alternate like different shades of blue to get sort of an idea of where the different tracks lie. And then the more difficult sections I'll color up in like red and orange. The alternates I'll color up in like magenta. I don't know if I've colored this. I don't think I've colored this track completely up, but you sort of get the idea of what you might do. And then when I'm on the trip, I'll record my route. So you just press the record button. I just press record like at the beginning of the day, and I just let it record all day. And I might pause it if I stop for like an extended lunch or break or whatever. But what that ends up looking like, and sort of going into sort of the organizational features of this, is like I have folders for like various activities or trips I've taken. So let's look at my so I can turn off like sort of things in any level of the hierarchy, and I can turn on different things. So this is the trip I took last summer, and this has actually the ride BDR tracks in it, and also my recorded tracks. So what I'm going to do is actually turn off the ride BDR tracks. So these are also in their individual folders. So these are GPX tracks I downloaded. So Arizona, Colorado, the connectors, Colorado, Idaho. Map B has my tracks in it, so that's the only one I'm going to leave on. Pacific Divide Route I use for a little bit of Utah, Arizona. Sorry, misclick. Washington. Okay, so now the only thing I've left on is my tracks. So if we go back to the map now, you just see my stuff. And I basically color up every day as a different color, so you can see like roughly sort of the travels I took in each day. And then, if you go into any one of these tracks, it records statistics. So I have my distance, 123 miles, my total time, and how much elevation I did. If you click on that, your speed profile. So you see here, like it's a pretty jagged profile. I stop and take a lot of pictures. So I'll be going along at like 25 miles an hour. Then I'll stop, pull my phone out of my pocket, take a picture, and then continue on the trip. So I stop quite a lot. So this will give you, so my total time is almost 8 hours, but my moving time, which is down here below, is 5 hours and 43 minutes. Stop time, 2 hours and 11 minutes. So I just let this thing record the whole time. I get a moving speed, average speed, max speed, et cetera, et cetera. And then the elevation profiles are kind of interesting because, you'll start out somewhere at some elevation, then you might go up into the mountains for a while, drop down into some valley, then go up again. So that's always interesting to see. And the tracks you download that have good elevation data will show you that as well. And when I record the tracks, or when I upload tracks, or when I color stuff up, or any changes I make, actually get synced to the cloud. So I actually have Gaia on multiple phones. So I have a phone I use on my motorcycle on the handlebars, and I have my phone I have in my pocket, which I use mostly to take pictures. And I'm just using an old iPhone 7 on my handlebars because you can get vibration that'll damage the camera in the phone. So I'm just using an old phone I don't really care about. And just clicking on account here will tell you like when the last, you click on last sync actually, and it will just like do a sync. And then like when you open the app, it will sync. So you have syncing to the cloud, to your computer, the web app you can use to do stuff, and you can sync to multiple devices you might have on your trip. So sometimes I'll be editing tracks like on my better phone, and then I'll sync to the cloud, and then sync on my other phone that goes on the motorcycle, like before I get going in the morning. Also, I typically leave it in this. This is like Gaia Streets, but I think one of the more powerful features is there's just a wealth of maps you have access to. So like in the summertime, I might have wanted to see wildfires. So they have satellite and current active fire maps available. So they have like opacity, so you have to turn those up and see. I don't know if we'll see any. Well, you saw some fires when it first opened up, but I think that was just old stuff. But you'll see hot spots from satellite data. That's what these like purple things are. So not a lot of activity there. You can turn those off. Air quality was interesting in the summer when there was a lot of smoke out. Cell coverage you can look at. The Topo Maps. Actually, when I'm off-roading, I'll often use the Topo Maps as the base map, because I want to see, elevation data in here. So you'll see when you zoom in, you get elevation data. There's also satellite maps. When I go sailing, I use the NOAA charts as the base map. So I can go, when I'm out in the bay sailing, I can get the NOAA chart right on here. So these will show you like waterways. These are like depths in feet of the water around the bay. So it's good to know where stuff is. These are like buoys that are out in the bay. So really like just a wealth of features and data at your fingertips. Snow depth. Let me turn off NOAA and go to Gaia Topo. So yeah, if you're planning a trip, and you're going to go out in the spring, you want to know like what the snowpack looks like, right? So if I was going to take off on this trip today, right, I would be dealing with quite a bit of snow. And unfortunately, it doesn't show you, I think the only way to get the key, the only way to see the keys, you have to go into add map layers, weather overlays, snow depth. And here you can see the key of what the depth is. So like these blues and purples are in the like 100 to 150, 150, 250, or let's just do it in inches, say 40 to 60, 60 to 100, 100 to 200 inches sort of range. So that's say 3 to like 5 feet, and then more, right? So you're obviously not probably going to go motorcycling through like 5 feet of snow. So, if I were looking at doing this trip, you would be wanting to wait until a lot of this snow melted away. And I think like when I was in Idaho in July, you could see just little patches of snow left in places, but this would be just really steep, impassable snow right now. And as far as I know, like this is just not stuff you can get with any of the Garmin kit. So I think it's just like it's a great app. Um, I've used it on all my sort of motorcycle trips and for other things as well, overlanding and whatnot. It's great. You can if you find GPX tracks like on the web, you can just upload them. It creates a folder in here, and you can turn it on and off very easily. Um, and what I'm showing you actually requires a subscription. So I think I have like for that Baja trip, I have the highest tier subscription because it does give you access to. Let me turn Baja back on. Um, it does give you access to some Nat Geo maps. Oh, here it is, Nat Geo Baja. So if we use this as the base map, so you can do you choose usually a base map, and then you can choose other maps as overlays with whatever opacity you choose to. But like the Nat Geo maps are very detailed and very nice. So if you want to get a better idea of what's where versus like what you might find on like Gaia Streets, um, these are very good maps. But I think this is a $40 per year subscription. The middle tier I think is $15 per year. So if you don't care about some of the maps, then you can use the you can use the middle tier, which is $15 per year, which I think is just a very reasonable thing to pay for in terms of for the features and things you get. Um, what else is there to show here? It doesn't. The thing it doesn't have is turn by turn. So when I'm writing, I am looking at this periodically, and I'm on a trail. So when I come to a turn, I might have to figure out which way to turn. It will follow you. So if you press this like sort of crosshair looking like thing in the top center, it will follow you as you drive, which I typically find to be good enough. So I get to like a zoom level that's appropriate where I can see like maybe 5 miles down. And then I'll just have it follow me as I record. You can also use it for sort of planning trips. Whoops, also it has like, not north up, which I typically like north up. So you can click the plus sign, and you can create a route. So, and then you can start to drop points on the map. So you basically press, and I have this set to hiking mode, so it will follow a trail if it can find one. This is only available, I think, when you're online. Or you can do straight line routes if you want to do, if you're sailing or something, maybe it's not going to be able to find a route anyway. Or if you want driving routes, so they will snap to different types of roads, right? So driving route, this would go, it's going to jump like on the freeway or something probably. Sometimes it can't find a track to like a hiking trail. But if I go like somewhere in the city, so it gives you distance and like elevation as well, and so you can save these if you're doing some, you're planning to go ride some forest roads and you need to sort of figure out a track for yourself. Then that's a very useful way to do it. So yeah, I think those are like the key features. There's all sorts of interesting layers, like satellite layers, satellite topo and stuff. There's forest service maps in here, which can be useful if the Gaia topo doesn't have some U.S. Forest Service roads and stuff in it. You can look on Forest Service maps. I typically find the Gaia maps have a lot of trails in them. So it's typically pretty good for that. You can also download track. You can download areas. So what this does is as you zoom in, it'll download more detailed sort of information about an area. But if you click on a track, you can download maps for track. And so what that will do is it will download the tiles for that track when you're online, and then they'll be available when you're offline. I've had issues where I'll forget to download like the more detailed maps when I have connectivity, and then when I'm out on the trail, I can't see like the very fine detail of where stuff is. But yeah, that's Gaia GPS. Very good app for doing outdoor stuff.